of Biotechnology Industry Research Assistance Council. Today, we come together to celebrate not just another year of our journey, but a legacy of innovation, collaboration, and transformative impact in the field of biotechnology. However, the celebration won't just end today, but we will continue this joyous occasion tomorrow as well in the gracious presence of our Minister, Dr. Jitendra Singh Ji. Since its inception, BIRAC has been a catalyst for change, empowering researchers, startups, and enterprises to push the boundaries of science and technology to realize the target of Make in India and Atmanirbhar Bharat initiatives. As we mark this milestone, we reflect on the achievements of the past, acknowledge the contributions of a brilliant scientific community, and set our sights on the exciting possibilities that lie ahead. We are honored to have with us our esteemed guests, visionaries, and thought leaders who have played a vital role in shaping the biotech landscape of our nation. Without further ado, let us embark on an inspiring day filled with insightful discussions and groundbreaking ideas.
To commence this auspicious occasion, I would like to invite our esteemed dignitaries to the dais. Their presence today symbolizes the unwavering commitment and support that they have been instrumental in shaping the BIRAC journey over the years. So may I now request our respected dignitaries to kindly honor us with their presence on the dais. We'll start with Dr. Rajesh S. Gokhale, Secretary DBT, DG, BRIC, and Chairman BIRAC. Sir, please. Now I'd like to request Ms. Ekta Bishnoi, Joint Secretary, Department of Biotechnology, to please join us on the dais. We'd like to request Dr. Jitendra Kumar, Managing Director, BIRAC, to please join us on the dais, sir. Followed by our Director of Finance, FCA Nidhi Srivastava, ma'am. Please have a seat. So, and we'd also like to request Dr. Rahul Purwar, Professor, Biosciences and Bioengineering, IIT Bombay, and founder, CEO, ImmunoAct Private Limited. Sir, we welcome you to please take a chair on the dais. So thank you, respected dignitaries, for joining us. Now, to invoke the spirit of wisdom, knowledge, and positivity, let us proceed with the ceremonial lighting of the lamp, a symbol of enlightenment and a triumph of knowledge over ignorance. I humbly invite our distinguished dignitaries to kindly step forward and light the lamp, marking the beginning of this significant event, the 13th BIRAC Foundation Day.
Both are working.
Thank you, respected dignitaries, for inaugurating this event with this symbolic gesture. May the flame of innovation continue to illuminate new paths of progress and discovery of DBT and BIRAC. So let us now move forward with the rest of our program. Over to you. And yeah, sorry, I just missed one part. I'd like to request our Director of Finance, ma'am, to kindly felicitate Dr. Rajesh S. Gokhale, Secretary, DBT, DG BRIC, and Chairman BIRAC with a piece of bouquet, please, ma'am. request ma'am to kindly felicitate the Joint Secretary, Department of Biotech, Ms. Ekta Bishnoi ma'am, please. Now I would like to request Ms. Shilpi Kocha, Head, BD Com and SPED, BIRAC, to kindly felicitate Dr. Rahul Purwar. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, thank you everyone. So first of all, I would like to request our Managing Director, Dr. Jitendra Kumar, to deliver his welcome address. Yes, sir.
Honorable Secretary, Department of Biotechnology, Dr. Rajesh S. Gokhale. He is also Chairman of BIRAC. He is DG BRIC also. Dr. Rahul S. Purwar, Professor IIT and founder of ImmunoAct, one of the deep tech science innovation companies originating from the academics. Ms. Ekta Bishnoi, Joint Secretary, Department of Biotechnology, who has recently joined board of BIRAC also. Ms. Nidhi Srivastav, our Director Finance. Officers of Department of Biotechnology, Dr. Alka Sharma, senior officers, my dear colleagues from BIRAC. In fact, today as we celebrate 13th Foundation Day, I'm very happy to say that BIRAC has really created a good innovation ecosystem across the country. It has, right from the initiation of ideation phase, to the whole value chain cutting across to the commercialization, we have created a full spectrum of, services and the grants mechanism and the, facilitation, you can say. And it's tremendous work actually. And I congratulate you, all of you, who has, achieved this, this feat. As we move forward, we always say that, we are, everybody is praising us. We are actually basking in the glory of, achievements. People say that there's no organization like BIRAC. We have achieved so much, whenever I go to any department, they say we must have a BIRAC-like department. It's really a great honor for us. When I go to foreign countries, I see that people say that we also do not have a BIRAC kind of organization where you are directly facilitating to the startup. And the country which was having only maybe few hundreds of startups, 2014. Now it has, 10,000, more than 10,000 startups. The bioeconomy has grown to a tremendous extent. Now it is $164 billion. How we have achieved this actually? BIRAC has played a direct role, at least in the area of biotechnology and life sciences. There is a startup revolution in India, but I think BIRAC has really played its role in achieving that whole bioeconomy. And I think we have created more than 100 bioinnovation centers across the country. And these bioinnovation centers are nurturing, if each average we take around 25 startups, it would be around, 3,000 to 4,000 directly, direct startups we are actually trying to, touch and directly help. When we talk about achievements, and we always feel that, okay, we have done so much. But actually speaking, it takes a lot of courage to say that, okay, we have to actually, there are a lot of weaknesses also in us. And this is not the right kind of forum where we say that, okay, no, we have a lot of challenges and weaknesses. But actually to reach that level, to reach the next level, we must ponder upon. So I have listed few of them, which you must actually think that how we can, we all can work together to make it happen. The first is, we have created a lot of facilities, or we have plugged all the gap as far as proof of concept is required. So ideation. So let's talk about ideation. If somebody has an idea, how can we actually, support them? So we have a Sparsh program. Then from ideation, if somebody has started a company and it has gone forward, we have the Biotech Ignition Grant coupled with the incubation center. So plug and play model, so they can do proof of concept. But after that, after the proof of concept, there's a scaling problem, So we do not have, companies do not have facility for, say, a GMP facility or 100-liter bioferment or more than that, fermenters or facilities where they can scale up. So that is a problem. Now, recently, Department of Biotechnology has, created or, launched BioE3 policy. And I really think that in addition to the initial wonderful work that BioE3 policy has done, I think Bio-Incubation Center, the facilities that we have created, can act as a base on which the superstructure of Bio-E3 policy as well as the biomanufacturing, the scale-up facility that I'm talking about, can be formed. So that we have to work in that direction. Second is, scale-up has a different dimension. Scale-up has a problem of initial funding also. So we have a lot of funding mechanisms. Those are, co-funding, grants, revenue sharing, etc. But the scale problem that I am talking about is the, equity funding, where we do not have early stage equity funding. So that BIRAC has created ACE Fund, which is actually a very, very successful model of equity funding. Now, next, going forward, actually this ACE funding has to be scaled up. So this challenge has to be overcome and we will work towards it. We have to create more and more equity models. Definitely we will also work towards it. I'm trying to chalk out the plan where BIRAC can go to the next level. The third challenge we have is the regulatory challenge. The regulatory framework for emerging technologies that we work on is still not clear. So we have created a division called RAPA, Regulatory Affairs and Policy Advocacy, which will work on creating guidelines and policy papers and advocacy and handholding these startups in the emerging areas and connect to the regulators and help them to actually see what are the gaps in the regulatory pathway and to navigate these startups, help navigate these startups through the regulatory challenge. So that we have to strengthen more and more. Next is creating a global accelerators. We have now more than 800 products in the market through these funding and startups. But these products may not see the light of the day or the market, go-to-market strategy. One is the domestic market, but how to reach actually the global market? Because ultimately the world is about globalization. The world is about creating the whole, capturing the market, global market, not about only the domestic market. So to that extent, we want to actually to solve that gap or to actually address that challenge, we have to have the global accelerators, which will provide a platform where these startups can actually interface with the global regulators, global investors, and strategic, strategic collaborations can happen. So global accelerators also is very important because ultimately when we move forward to the next level, BIRAC moving to the next level, we have to have a lot of global collaborations, global cooperation, and very strategic collaboration with countries as well as multinational companies, which will actually pave the way for exposure of these startups at the global level, exposure of our whole system to the global best practices, and we must strive for that. So we cannot shy away from the global exposure. Next is today's special lecture that we have arranged. Dr. Rahul Purvas, is one of the examples of how deep tech technologies can happen in our country. No doubt we have funded a lot of startups, innovations, but these startups and innovations are actually, we may say it's a deep tech because we are saying innovation. So innovations means deep tech. But actually, deep tech means disruptive. Right now we are taking deep tech into the next level also. So disruptive in nature. These disruptions can happen only when we see how the institutional mechanisms are placed in the universities and academic institutions where these technologies are being generated. Because it's a research intensive process. So most of the funding is going to the public research labs. So definitely those great technologies will emerge from them only, because it requires a lot of funding, it requires a lot of gestation period, it requires a lot of infrastructure, and our country has built those. So definitely the 7% of GDP is going mostly in there only, the public funded research labs. So there the technologies, we have not been able to create institutional mechanisms where these technologies can actually move forward. We have now in DBT, we are thinking about creating entrepreneur in residence program where some entrepreneurs in residence will be hired and they will be working on technologies that are lying on shelf in these public research labs. And then they will be actually, handheld or collaborations with the VCs to facilitate these startups, which will convert into startup, and then they'll be incubated in the incubation centers, and maybe these technologies can be commercialized. So I think this deep tech revolution can happen through this mechanism. One of the mechanisms is this, and this is very sure shot, good mechanism because this has been proven worldwide. We have seen this in Harvard, Boston, California, etc. This way of where entrepreneurs in residence work on technologies and they spin out companies, faculty entrepreneurship, spinning out companies and startups from the incubation, from the academic centers. So these are some of the challenges, the areas where we have to work on. And I'm sure that the strength BIRAC has built over time, we have that. And as we celebrate 13th Foundation Day, Alka Madam was just teasing me that you have become teenager. So definitely we have to show that now we are becoming independent also. Independent doesn't mean that we will sever our links. Independent means we will help contribute our mother organization building the whole ecosystem. As a teenager and as we enter into adulthood, we will work more and more to actually help our government to create different achievements, different sets of achievements which we all will be proud of. And I'm sure that the capabilities that we have built will go a long way. You all have, most of you have actually, spent more than 10 years here in BIRAC. Many of you have actually maybe 7, 8 to 10 years. And you have seen the journey of how it has taken, how it has taken shape. Sometimes people loosely say that BIRAC is a funding body. But actually, if you go deep into it, it's not just a funding body. When I say that we have mapped the whole innovation ecosystem in the country, we have studied the ecosystem. We have created programs. Mind it, the word creating programs. We have created programs which can fill those gaps in the innovation ecosystem. It's not that we just found that, okay, no, biotech ignition grant we should do. There's a lot of work has gone. SIBRI, BIPP, PACE, product commercialization, ACE fund, the SPURSH program. We have collaborated with Bill Gates Foundation. We have collaborated with World Bank. It has not happened like that. It has not come to the platter like that. Lot of work has gone into it, and I'm sure that as we reach newer heights, we will actually have to, seek the blessings and, cooperation from everybody. At this point, I also want to thank in a very, very deep manner our past secretaries, past officers, MDs of BIRAC, who have given it a shape and it's continuing to flourish like that. And once again, I congratulate you all. And any help and cooperation, any help and assistance required in your professional growth, I can assure you that management is there to help you. And I have seen that many of you have achieved a level of excellence. And I think going forward, you should also not only look at your professional excellence, but also the organizational excellence. Please put the interest of the organization above your own interest, although your own interest should be aligned with the organization, and we all should grow together. Thank you so much. Once again, congratulations and best wishes.
Thank you, sir, for your such supportive and motivating words of appreciation and providing us the direction for our future initiatives. Next, I would like to invite Dr. Rahul Purwar to deliver the Foundation Day lecture. Dr. Rahul Purwar is a professor at Department of Biosciences and Bioengineering at IIT Bombay and holds a PhD in molecular medicine from Hannover Medical School, Germany. Dr. Rahul's professional journey spans various prestigious institutions and roles. He started his postdoctoral fellowship at Harvard Medical School, Boston, USA. After his fellowship, he joined Immunogen Incorporation at Boston, USA as a scientist before returning to India as a faculty member at IIT Bombay. His lab at IIT Bombay developed indigenous technology platform for CD19 CAR T cell therapy, a type of gene therapy. Based on his research at IIT Bombay, Dr. Purwar founded ImmunoAct in 2018, first cell and gene therapy company in India, and upon successful multiple clinical trials, ImmunoAct received market authorization of the country's first CAR T cell therapy, and Honorable President of India dedicated CAR T cell therapy to the nation on April 4th, 2024.
Honorable Secretary Dr. Gokhale, Joint Secretary Dr. Jitendra Kumar ji, and all the officers on the dais as well as off the dais. Thank you so much for having me here. And I'm really, really delighted and honored to give this lecture of on the BIREC Foundation Day. Thank you to all the BIREC officers. Today you have become the teenagers, and hopefully I think BIREC has a very, very bright future, as all of you are doing excellent work, as Dr. Jitendra Kumar said, not only in just being a funding agency, but much more than the funding agency, creating basically the ecosystem of a startup in the country for the first time, and bringing new products, making entrepreneurs, and really, really making a huge impact on our society. So congratulations, huge congratulations to all of you. What I will do, and I am also the beneficiary of the BIREC, and in fact this project, BIREC has also contributed hugely, and how we brought the first indigenous gene therapy right from the discovery, translation, as well as how it is impacting the society. And some of you know that Honorable President visited IIT Bombay and dedicated this to the nation in April. Right. Because all of you are from the scientific background, probably not really from the one what I do. So these are the papers just came out in the Lancet. And if you are interested in deep science, I would suggest at least read this one-page commentary written by University of Pennsylvania, Marco Riolo, and that will give you the better picture on the science. But what I will do in next few minutes is giving you the journey, what I have done in an academic lab, how I translated academic research into the market. So I think the first question as a BIREC organization, you should ask, what is the need for the cutting edge research in our country? Why we need it? So I'm just giving you one very basic example of cancer. If you see in these graphs, what is happening is that the patient, when they respond to chemotherapy, all goes well. But once they relapse, these are the cancer, the patient die very, very quickly, within 2 to 3 months, maximum 5 months or 6 months. That means we need something to save these, at least some of them. cancer is a devastating disease. You cannot cure everybody, but at least you can give some hope or bring something which will help only at least few people. Again, we are not going to solve the entire problem, like everybody will not get cure or everybody will not get benefit, at least some of them will get, but because the situation is really very, very poor, if you see these graphs, majority of the patient will go either on palliative care and they will succumb to death, right? In India, this is a very, very important slide. I think all of you will appreciate. The problem is access, cost, as well as delivery. What is the access here? Don't worry about these difficult words like brentuximab. These are just biologics. Let's say imagine in the first column, the first drug and the second drug. The first drug, brentuximab, was launched in US in 2011 when Dhoni got the World Cup. And when it came to India, it was the time when Rohit got the World Cup. So it took almost 10 years for this drug to come to our country and help at least few of the patient. So what I want to tell you that even drugs are available in the West, while the time they reach here, it takes too long. Why it takes too long? The companies generally do not see the market because these are very, very expensive drugs. If you see the, again, expense, like there are few drugs, again, these are the monoclonal antibody maps. They cost huge amount, and these are the recurring cost for the patient until they will live. And because these are cancer patients, they have to take these monthly cost or bi-weekly cost, and until the patient completely exhausted either the money or the drug stops working, these are the costs they have to bear. So problem is really the access, cost, and delivery. That's why we need the innovation. And we need indigenous innovation which are affordable and they can make certain impacts. If you see these emerging technologies, there are many emerging technologies are available in the West. FDA approved more than 35 drugs, FDA, EMA, which are US or Europe. So many drugs are available which are emerging. India got its first gene therapy approved last year. And now you imagine the cost once you innovate in our country, do all the research, academic research, then translation and reach to market. The cost is more than 1/10, even 1/20th in some cases. So 0.5 to 4 million to bring it to $30,000. So I always feel that there is a huge geographical disparity. So where there are patients, technologies are not available. Where there are less patients, more technologies are available. If you see our part of the world, although our cancer incidence is low, but our population is so huge, the number of patients are so many in our country. But despite having huge patient load, developing world does not have access to these drugs, right? So these curative platforms are not available in the global south. And here, how to develop them? I was saying the innovation is the key for affordability and improving access. All of you heard this example, how we reach to the Mars or how we are sending things to Mars, right? At the cost, which is less than a Hollywood movie cost. So that's what we have done it. India has proven its mettle, its innovation capacity. We can do it, right? So we have the potential to innovate and innovate at a cost which will impact more human lives than the rest of the world. And that is the key what you should understand. Another type of innovation is the gene therapy, and within the gene therapy, something is called CAR T-cell. CAR T-cell is a drug that has potential to cure the cancer. When I say potential to cure, don't think everybody will get cured. At least some will get cured, some will have some advantage, some will relapse, some will not, and some people it may not even work. But for some, it can give long-term cure as well. So what is it? It's an autologous platform. That means in the middle, what you see the patient come to the clinic. In the clinic, they give the blood. Then this blood comes to the GMP facility or manufacturing facility. In the manufacturing facility, we genetically modify the immune cells from the blood and make them cancer-fighting cells. And then these cancer-fighting cells go back into the patient at the clinic and they try to kill the cancer. Right? So this platform not only able to kill one or two type of cancer, but multiple different type of cancers, as well as now autoimmune diseases, metabolic diseases as well. Heart attack is one of the major problems. And as you can see, the cardiac fibrosis can be targeted using this platform as well. So what we thought 10 years ago or 11 years ago, that our mission should be how to improve the access and access at affordable cost and at a scale. Because our vision was that we don't want this kind of gene therapy platform as a boutique therapy. Because at this moment, these are like boutique. Very expensive, only few get it, everybody don't get it. Our mission right from the day one was, whenever it comes, it took us 11 years to bring this, but whenever it comes, it should come at a scale, at an affordable cost. I am not going to give you each detail of the science you can go through later, but from the discovery R&D, translational research, then clinical development and commercial scale, that's how the drug development works. And we develop end-to-end capabilities among ourselves to bring this drug to the market. To any collaboration, you need, or any such big project, you need collaboration. Then only you can innovate. So we work with Tata Hospital, we work with National Cancer Institute, NCI US. We worked for the Scale Up, the ImmunoAct, which I co-founded along with my two students. And Dr. Gaurav is from Tata Hospital for pediatric oncology. Hasmukh Jain is an adult hemato-oncologist, and Nirali, Terry, and Steve all are from NCI. From the US, NIH, who helped us in clinical trial design and the GMP related work. So what we did as a first step, we innovated the drug. In this case, the drug is the particular construct. I'm not going to again bore you with the more science part, but it's a DNA sequence, which is a drug. We innovated it, patented it, and in the preclinical, how to design the drug, how it works in the lab, is all was published, and it shows that it really works fantastic. It's really remarkable that most of the cancer cells you put, our drug able to kill those cancer cells in a very specific manner. Once we have shown in the lab, then you go to animal models. In animals also you see the blue means cancer, without blue is without cancer. So whenever we put the drug in the mouse, the cancer goes away. You don't see any blue anymore once the mouse receives the drug, showing that even in the mouse it can work. And this study we have published several years ago. And what unique thing we have told them at the preclinical scale, that this drug shows similar efficacy in the animal model, but it shows less toxicity in the animals. And that's how we speculated whenever we will do the clinical trial, we should see similar efficacy like any other available drug, which are available at the cost of 6 crore rupees. Whenever Indian car will come, it will show similar efficacy, but lower toxicity. That's what we predicted, and our car construct is on the cover page of the journal. Then comes a second battle, comes of regulatory, right? So we went step by step for preclinical work, CMC, clinical trial. Again, all these committees, all these forms we obtained. And here I'm really very pleased. I was talking to Dr. Sonia, Dr. Jitendra, that they are doing excellent work now facilitating these discussions between all stakeholders, including the regulatory agencies. And that really helpful for the startup. They can raise their voice to the regulators, and BIRAC is facilitating is excellent step. So after going through all regulatory, we went to the clinical trial. And the pediatric team, Dr. Gaurav Narula treated first patient in 21, almost 4 years ago. And Dr. Hasmukh treated another first patient in 21 as well after a few weeks. I will not again show you entire data, but just a glimpse of it. what we have shown that almost 72 to 73% response in lymphoma patient or leukemia. Here response means when you give the drug, your cancer burden goes down. In lymphoma patient, almost half of the patient, they get complete response, and here complete response with cancer is completely gone. In leukemia patient, almost 70% plus patient, cancer is completely gone. So these are really remarkable because in cancer field, you do not see such kind of responses. Any drug, you just either reduce the cancer burden a little bit and then you call it successful. But in blood cancer, it's slightly easier. And what you see here, probably the really remarkable results. And one thing, as I said, this is not like Ramvan. It is not going to cure everybody. Many people will relapse. Many people, even half of them, or in this case, for example, what you see, I cannot see from there, or I cannot even point you, but on the right-hand side, if you see the green line on the top, it says, what it is telling you in science is that if you give the drug at the right time, and the right time is when the cancer burden is low in the patient, then there's 75% chance that this person will remain cancer-free for more than a year. Unfortunately, the patient who has high tumor burden, when they come to the clinic at high tumor burden, when you give this drug to those people, only there are 20% chance the cancer will not come back. So it is telling us it depends on the timing when you will give the drug, how drug will work. Will it work on 70% chance or will it work on 20% chance? So now my next battle is how to educate the clinicians, how to educate the patient that come at the right time, take the CAR-T at right time so you get the better benefit. Either you can become in the 70% chance bracket or you may come into the 20% chance bracket. So this is the next level of challenge what we are facing. Similar story in lymphoma. Lymphoma is in poor response. Only half of the patient work. And if you see in the 12 months, only 45 to 50% people will have response. And if you get in the poor, if you come at the clinic when you have a very high tumor burden, your chance is only 10% it will work for next 1 year. So these are the things in the result side. But the best part what we have seen, which led to the Lancet, was that we have very few CRS, cytokine release syndrome, which were grade 3 or above. There were no ICANS. This is what we have proposed or hypothesized in our preclinical work, and similar thing we have seen in the clinical trial. And that's how and when we marketed it, then Nature wrote this story about how we brought the cost to 1/10. In pediatric patient or in the kids, it works even much better because kids have better immune cells. They are not too much exposed with chemotherapy. And now we have kids who have more than 2 years cancer-free and the response is still managed. We still have those kids alive who were almost on the palliative care. So this is very satisfying when you see such graph that response is continuing more than a year. And there is a girl who we are hoping would be our Emily Whitehead. Because Emily Whitehead story, some of you might have heard this. She is now 12 years cancer-free. We are hoping this one girl from Nashik will be our Emily Whitehead. She just completed 3 years, going to school, living normal life, and very satisfying. And this is what really matters at the end, like hope and trust of these people. In this particular work, we have treated royals, and one of the most famous royal family in the country. Now they have actually put the video on the public domain as well, from Jaipur, where one of the family member we treated, and they are doing better, very good. And we also treated poorest of the poor, where this farmer on the lower left, he's a farmer from UP, and now after 2 years, he fathered a baby. This is remarkable. With cancer patient fathering a baby is something huge because most of them become infertile after the treatment. So this is another great example. We have our dentist from Thane, she is doing now going back to the practice. And so there are so many good stories, but of course there are many, many bad stories as well. Everybody will not have these kind of good responses. What time you come, how much it works, it all depends on many different factors. So I'm just telling you good story, but imagine there are bad stories also in the background. We have the national cyclist. He's a national champion Olympic guy who got treated and now doing back on the track again. So we are trying to make as much impact as possible. Now we are scaling up, as Dr. Jitendra Kumar was telling, that BIRAC is also supporting our GMP facility as well, where we have built this facility coming in the Mumbai again. This is 11th floor building of the ImmunoAct, where all the end-to-end capabilities of the cell and gene therapies are built. So it's almost like 60,000 square feet working area dedicated to CGT. Nothing else. And now, since approval, we have done almost 300 plus patient, and I'm really proud that each part of the country, as far as in the east, Odisha, in the West Bengal, we have treated patients. We have treated patients in South. South is picking up very, very fast. Somehow adoption of CAR-T is much better in South. Delhi is slow. I don't know why, but Delhi is doing it. I think Delhi's innate nature maybe. They are very slow in adoption, very hard to convince people here. But West and South are really, really doing fantastic. And we have done 300 plus patients in the country. Giving you very brief idea how these patients are doing compared to the clinical trial. Again, what you see is even better. Why better? If you see, the leukemia is 89% responses and lymphoma is also 70% responses. Most likely this is only because of the training. Once you know how to use the product, you can do the better handling, and that's why probably the responses are better. Make in India, as all of you would like to see that Make in India products should go outside. And you know, Mexico, which is next to US, they share the boundary. But unfortunately, even Mexico doesn't have the CAR-T. So Indian CAR-T is going to all the way to Mexico, and we are going to start the clinical trial. If you remember in G20, the person who is sitting in the middle, he's the foreign minister of Mexico. He came to IIT Bombay and ImmunoAct and was very happy to take this product. And now he is there, I think, commerce minister. Again, want to continue this work so that Indian CAR-T can go to Mexico and can help the patient. At the last, in the summary, the journey is really a very satisfying journey. Some of you interacted with me on the journey in last 10 years, many officers, right? And 2013 onwards, in the beginning, we are developing the proprietary lentiviral vector platform. We did the translational R&D, went to CDSCO, founded the company at IIT Bombay Incubator. Again, BIRAC supported that time the incubator and is still supporting. And our project was also supported that time in the incubator. And then we finally got the Lotus Lab on board for the clinical trial and the scale up. We commenced the trial, ultimately got the approval in 23. And now we are across the country, not we, but ImmunoAct is selling it. And I am back to IIT Bombay as professor, developing more products so that more and more products can go from IIT to this thing. At the end, I would like to really thank again your team, all the officers for having me here and giving this honor to give you the Foundation Day lecture. And also thank many, many students as well as many colleagues, all the funding agencies, BIRAC as well as others, my collaborators without whom this work was not possible, Tata Hospital, NIH, UPenn. And here, if you see UPenn and MD Anderson, both the people who are on the scientific advisory board, who are helping us, they are the innovator. Carl June gave his own CAR-T to Novartis. And Carl June accepted our offer to being on scientific advisory board. No worries about conflict of interest. Satwa Nilapu, he did the Gilead Kite Pharma CD19, C28 CAR-T pivotal trial, helping us in the CAR-T space, with us as well in the, even he is on the Lancet paper as well. What I want to convey here is that in pharma, in healthcare, in life sciences, do not worry too much, do not think. In some field, we will collaborate. Some things we will compete. There is not too much conflict of interest. Let us collaborate. Let us make things in India, innovate in India, and help our patients. Ultimately, that's what matters. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Purwar. It is indeed heartening to see the entrepreneurial journey of an academician reaching such successful heights. I would now request MD Sir, MD Bairak Sir, to kindly felicitate Dr. Purwar with a memento. So please.
Just a round of applause from the audience, please. Thank you, Ms. Priyanshi. She's from the CLA department of BIRAC.
Now I would request Dr. Rajesh S. Gokhale, Secretary DBT, DG BRIC and Chairman BIRAC to kindly deliver the Foundation Day address.
Namaskar and good afternoon to all of you. I think, first of all, I must, thank Rahul for coming over here and giving this absolutely fantastic talk. I've known him since he just moved in IIT Bombay as a professor. In fact, we had early exchanges when I was at IGIB. And I think his journey has been a real, what I should say, it's a kind of something that we can all be proud of as a country, actually, right? And I think we should give a very big applause for him for doing this fantastic stuff. I really think there are very few people in lives are able to complete their task in such short amount of time. And I think you are amazing. His last few words are what I think we should all take reverberate with each one of us. We constantly believe that somebody will take away your activities, somebody will dilute the equity of the company, somebody will, run away with whatever your innovations are. I think there are examples, but in biological sciences, it's not easy to do it. Believe me, it's very tough to replicate. Even the data to replicate in the same lab, it's so difficult actually that I can tell you that sometimes they are not very easy to do this. The biology by itself is very complex and very innate in its own perspective. So first of all, I think let me first congratulate each one of you from BIRAC for doing what you have been doing for all these years, fantastic years. I think obviously led by now present your MD BIRAC, Dr. Jitendra Kumar. I think this has been a fantastic journey, and I've now been part of this BIRAC Foundation Day for 3 years, and I thought maybe today I should just talk about something that I have learned from all of you actually. And, there's always learning, there's a back and forth. I always look at, where is the flow of direction of information going from actually. If I'm the one keeps applying, that means I'm going to be losing out my everything, and then you're going to be gaining more of it. And so I must say that, these BIRAC officers have tremendous capabilities actually. Enormously talented, very much exciting folks, all of you are actually, and there are so many things to really, the patience with which you actually work with all these companies, they have the surmountable challenges that one has to look at. In fact, people like Manish and several other have, kind of had such good network links that I would love to have, to be very frank. I mean, I don't think I maintain a bigger network of linkages than what Manish does it actually. I'm more focused on my own domain areas than what one wants to look at. But I think it's fascinating how you have created this ecosystem actually. And I think as MD rightly said, that we can all feel proud about it, and I think we should all feel proud about it actually, of what we have done it. But maybe I sometimes also like to rethink again actually. If you want to do it again today, because now everybody wants to replicate BIRAC, should we do it in the same way? And that's where the learning should actually come in from our own perspective. And I personally believe, we should not repeat the BIRAC model actually. Primarily because of the challenges that our country faces actually, and the challenges are primarily from a point of view of investors' challenges. Our country is still very much first generation rich people. We are not second generation rich people. The first generation rich people and second generation rich people are very different actually. उसको हिंदी में कहते हैं ना, जिसने कभी लड्डू नहीं खाया वो दूसरे को लड्डू क्या देगा एक्चुअली, वो खुद ही खा लेगा पहले. हमारे देश में सारे खुद लड्डू खाने वाले हैं इस वक्त अभी, or they don't want to share with others. They don't want to part with their own laddus actually. We are not a poor country, believe me. I think we have a 550 million people who are in middle income now in the present environment in 2025. That's a prediction that government numbers give. And so we are not poor by any chance. I mean, look at the countries. Yesterday we were meeting with Cuba folks, and they were saying, they have this vibrant ecosystem of biotech industry and there's everything. Then I just asked him, what is your population? And it's 10 million people actually. And, can you imagine 10 million in Delhi is probably, you're not even covering half of it actually. You're probably just covering one corner of the country actually. So we are a very, very vibrant, very, very strong, extremely important society where we cannot be taken for granted. And believe me, in the international scenario, we are probably the no pushovers any longer for anything. Whatever countries want to come in, say, do it. They cannot replace us by what we have been able to manage and put it together. And clearly, the startup ecosystem in biotech, BIRAC must be proud of it actually. I think it's nurtured, it's carried forward. You have actually watered it. And very many things that you have done is actually very much amazing from the point of view of, people talks about you is the biggest attribute that you can get back actually. And I think that's because many of you have, been part of the journey actually. So I think sometimes what happens is that as officers become part of the journey, then you live through this actually, and you live through other people's dreams, you live through what they are facing challenges and problems. And I think that's been one of the biggest learning that I have got from all of you actually, is that you be part of the progress. So for example, when you talk about a project, talk about the project as it belongs to you and not belongs to somebody else actually. And that's something really unusual because, if I have to talk about somebody else's work, I will always talk about he or she and not about me, I and me. Whereas many of you, when you present these projects and programs, actually, you talk about as you are part of that. You want to know more about it. You want to know, and that's where I think the whole spirit of BIRAC comes in actually, that you want to see them being successful actually. And I think that's the real strength that what all of you have been created. And I actually compliment each one of you for fantastic stuff you have done. So what do we do after the teenager actually? As everybody says, teenager, you got into your teens and you want to be independent. That is what MD BIRAC said. I think it's wonderful if you can be independent. The government would want you to be independent actually, very frankly. And every government thinks that financial independence is the only independence. And being a Secretary Government of India, I can guarantee you that Department of Economic Affairs always constantly, only looks at that aspect of this. When can you become expenditure-wise independent? But cutting the, just from that point of view, I think becoming independent is also becoming stronger. What he tries to mean is becoming stronger, becoming firmer, taking up bigger responsibilities and challenges. And bigger not in the scale of what you have not been doing actually, bigger in the scale of what you want to achieve when the country's ambition is very, very high actually. And the next 10 years, in fact, I'm almost sure about it. If the next 10 years we can't do it, I think it will become more and more difficult because our demographic dividend, what we keep talking about constantly. Although, I myself fail to understand what is the demographic dividend that what we have actually. We have two extra working pair of hands, but they need to find something useful to be done as well actually. So how do we make use of demographic dividend actually? And I think some of these really discussions we should articulate in the way of what we really need to do to bring it together such that it becomes an enterprise of an amazing journey that we are looking forward to. I think it's great to see that people want to mimic us, and I always enjoy that part because then you keep people busy doing something else and you do something else again actually. And this is a best way of moving out of space and leaving it for somebody else to do it. And I truly believe that I think what our focus and mandate should now go to how to accelerate this program and the startup ecosystem to the next level of their financial independence actually, because they are still very much dependent on incubators. They're dependent on how they can provide them supply chains, what they can end up doing. And I think that's where together we came up with this vision of BioE3 for the country. And I think since last BIRAC and DBT were always together but never really were together. In fact, I give credit to Alka actually for putting pieces together when she was an MD for that period of time. She pushed DBT to come closer by. I mean, it used to be two independent entities actually. I mean, I've talked to Manish and Shishendu many times actually, and they probably know very little. They are the only one who know a little bit about DBT, but not every officer is aware of this, and DBT are not very aware of what BIRAC used to do. So that used to be very, very strange for me. They know what it is, but they don't exactly know what it is inside what is going on. And I think sometimes it's good for two independent organizations to grow and grow bigger actually, because then you can cement them and bring them together to bring the maximum benefit that you cannot get. Because otherwise, if you keep feeding into one another, then you bite away each other's space rather than, creating a new space for yourself. So I actually think that's a very good model that has happened with. And I think that's why for the biomanufacturing program, what we have done is now we are starting to co-fund and co-joint activities such that, you integrate the academia and you integrate the industry, you integrate the startup all together such that you can make a much better pool of systems to be able to look at. And I think that's probably one of the best things that has happened in last 2-3 years of time, in my opinion, actually, that we've been able to come to terms with how to do this together, actually. And obviously, there are very much benefits because your knowledge about how to fund industry, how to work with them, how to be able to do, and the DBT's knowledge about academia ecosystem, how to be able to do, actually is able to, come together in a very, very concretized way. Finally, I would just talk about one aspect of things, actually, which is the health that you talked about, actually. And, I think what we should realize is that there are 3 big opportunities for biotech ecosystem to grow, in my opinion, actually. And, these 3 big areas that I largely define as one is a health bio, what I call actually, which is really looking at the health of population, planet, and the way activities are actually. The second one is scalable bio. I think we all need to think of how to scale bio innovations actually, otherwise we'll be left to the tables of our own areas where we kind of sit ourselves with Appendoffs and all. And the scalability of bio is very feasible actually. And the third one is earth bio actually, where we now integrate ourselves in the larger ecosystem such that we worry about the planet, we worry about the animals, we worry about the ecological perspective and an environment point of view. And I think these are the tremendously powerful systems that we can make use of to be able to make maximum impact for our country's future and progress. And I really think that these 3 areas, if we start to take it together, it can really make amazing impact. For example, health bio you look at. I mean, classically, it's the chemicals that used to be the first line of defense as a pharma industry. And I think in 10 years, probably they won't be like that actually. And I think they will be only just a way of, because you have been using them for so long time, but it's a biology that will dictate what kind of treatment regimens are given, what kind of treatment modalities are given to you, And in fact, biologicals will become the first line of activities in every perspective to look at. For example, whether it's not just about gene therapy, but I completely believe that the microbial therapeutics will become a reality actually, because there are various ways in which microbes play a very complex role with human interface, and I think many of us are trying to figure out how that part of the world will work with actually. It's also important to understand that even enzymes and biological systems can also be engineered very in an amazing way actually. For example, mRNA therapy now, therapeutics can be completely transformative. I mean, you can just throw away a small piece of mRNA to downregulate some gene activity for a short period of time, and you can finally convert it into a pharmaceutical product actually through an LNP particles and various other mechanisms that we are talking about right now. Now, never before India has such an opportunity to really embark upon journeys with side by side with other world actually, because I think through the DBT's help, I think all these programs are kind of active in our country, and therefore this is the chance that we actually get level on in the entire world ecosystem. And I truly believe it's like it is very doable. It is very doable if our research ecosystem, if our startup ecosystem, if our businesses with companies start to believe in themselves and start to say that, yes, we have a mandate to do. And that's why I liked what, you just said, stop thinking about competition or thinking of, somebody will take away something and, or the conflict of interest actually. It's really the deep knowledge that helps you out to do deeper things. And it cannot come without having vetted your own hands in the systems. This peripheral knowledge is of very much significance. It provides enthusiasm and energy, but finally you need to know what you are doing in biological systems right now. And I think we have immersed enough in our own systems by academic teams, by various members. And I think we have a huge opportunity to look at. The other good thing that I always like is that how does the international world is looking up to you right now. I mean, you can look at in last about since US's new president has arrived. In fact, we have a flurry of new presidents and prime ministers visiting India actually. And sometimes you get worried about, what are they all looking forward to right now actually. But you can see the world order is changing actually, right? I mean, everybody is looking after themselves right now. And I think it's a great opportunity for us to really pick up from there. We may be a little bit capital shy, but I don't think we have a talent shy. And enormous talented people, enormous younger population. And that's where I believe the demography has a benefit for us all actually. I mean, for example, I really believe one of the biggest demographic benefit is to understand diseases very early on in larger number of people and then find solutions for it, whether it is, antibody drug conjugate therapies for it actually, or whether, you kind of find various other programs and activities to look at it. So I believe there is a enormous challenge and opportunity for us to look at. So how does BIRAC positions itself and how does BIRAC takes up to the next level of activities? I think clearly we need to have become more international in our progress of our activities, in our domain partnerships, and our ability to look at. You can clearly see that the startups by themselves are aspirational now. They are no more thinking about, like for example, the CAR-T, I'm sure you showed Mexico as one partner, but I'm pretty much sure with 1/10 of the cost, many countries would be asking you to be the partner of this activities. And then the challenge really is that whether you have capacity to do that in the sense of expanding these activities. And he's not the only example. There are many companies who are starting to come up and do these programs, activities. I mean, the several gene therapy programs, several CAR-T cell programs, several of these are actually trying to do this. However, from an Indian point of view, one should also ask, what are the really public health challenges that we can solve? Because as Rahul also said, so the challenges, despite 1/10 of the cost, is still esoteric for esoteric people actually, or government needs to do this actually. So can we really think of in vivo gene therapy programs? Can we really look at the next generation programs rather than following the trials of what is happening everywhere else, actually? And the classical, what I call American model, fail fast, but big money investment in it, actually, is probably not the model will work in India, because, we don't have that much of capital to put in. And because the fail fast, but put in a lot of money, also brings in a lot of the costs for the people by themselves, actually, because the cost of the product development gets added on to it, actually. So finally, you pay the price in different ways, actually, however somebody else makes money out of it. So I think these are interesting opportunities and challenges for all of us. And I actually really believe that BIRAC can come up with a very, very progressive looking outlook of how one can really build it. The 1 lakh crore scheme that is actually being launched by Government of India, I think it's still under the process, although announced in the budget, will soon come to the light. And I think will bring in a lot of investment that needs to be deployed, actually. Because there is one thing of having capital, the second thing of deploying it properly, and deploying it in a way such that you are able to make economic cycle work. Because unless you are able to bring technologies to the market, and market is flowing back into the economy of the country, the next round of flowing money will not happen, actually. So we have to be very, very careful how we deploy this money. And I think that's where our responsibility as a S&T ministry comes, that how do we really develop a plan of action that allows us to take faster technologies early to the market, such that the market brings back the economic value to the system, and then the government gets more money back through various GST and taxes that is gets back to it, so that it's able to renew its cycle. So it's a cyclical, periodical processes, actually, that we really need to look at. And I think that's where BIRAC can bring in completely new model of governance, of where to prioritize, which technologies to give priority on, which technologies, when we want to do it, will actually have faster cycle of commercialization, and how we can support this, actually. And as you said, Vinita and others are doing these activities of bringing regulatory people together. And we all know that the biotech ecosystem requires enormous amount of regulatory aspect, but not only just the regulatory, but the ethical perspectives are also very, very important, actually. I think the ethics of people are largely going to be very, very critical and important, because we ourselves need to be truthful to what we produce, because we are not going to be able to, get clear-cut data from what we have in every context, what we have to do, actually. So I think I'll stop here, but say that I think your unwavering dedication and collective effort has been a very, very important perspective for an Indian growth point of view. And I think you all should feel proud about it. And kudos to all of you for this fantastic work. Of course, DBT colleagues are also here. Dr. Mohanty is here, and many of you are here, actually. And I think it's a fantastic day to celebrate. And we have another N+1 day to celebrate tomorrow as well, actually, which is sometimes good. You have 2 days of celebrations rather than having 1 day of celebration. So we do this added celebration tomorrow with more activities. So congratulations to all of you, and thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Your words of motivation always inspire us to push ourselves to reach even higher levels. I would request MD BIRAC to kindly felicitate Secretary Sir with the memento.
So I request you back on the stage, please. Thank you, Dr. Smita. She is from the technical division of BIRAC.
I would also request MD BIRAC to kindly felicitate Ms. Ekta Bishnoi, Joint Secretary DBT, with the memento from BIRAC.
Thank you again, Ms. Priyanshi. All right, we'll go ahead with the next section of our first day of Foundation Day that is scheduled today. So I think I see a lot of serious faces in the crowd. So I guess it's time for some entertainment. where innovation meets entertainment, the theme of this. And today we are unleashing a wave of imagination, passion, and ingenuity. So from mesmerizing performances to unexpected surprises, this fun-filled talent show promises to keep you on the edge of your seats. I can assure you that as well. So sit back and relax and get ready to be amazed as we dive into our innovation, a theme of that which has been curated, and where entertainment knows no bounds for this. So I'd like to request Dr. Jagdish Chaturvedi to please join us on the stage. Or we'd also like to refer you as Corona Wala Doctor. So, and please request a round of applause for Dr. Jagdish. But before you start, I'd just like to introduce you to the crowd. So, he is a ENT surgeon and a former fellow of the prestigious Stanford India Biodesign Program. He has co-developed and invented over 20 plus novel medical devices, 11 of which have been commercially launched in the market. He was recognized as one of the 35 innovators under the age of 35 by MIT Technology Review in the year 2016. And he's currently the founder and director of High Technologies Private Limited, which he has developed and patented technology which allows remote home-based ENT endoscopy and spirometry. He's also a medical educator, author, and a stand-up comedian as well. And his written achievements comprise of inventing medical devices, a perspective from India, and the benefits of failing successfully. So, and he has more than, I think, 400 plus live performances and 300 plus online performances. So I leave the crowd with you. Over to you, Dr. Jagdish.
Thank you. Thank you very much for this wonderful introduction, which I only provided. It becomes awkward to listen to it as I was writing it and sending it and then invited, but it's nice. With the due permission of all our dignitaries over here, I would request or ask, say I'm a surgeon, so I have to first take consent. So whether you would like a more formal style of communication or can it be a little bit informal and funny, if that is okay? What would you like? No, that's... All right, you want it formal or slightly informal and funny, but with a disclaimer that, I should remain a doctor, not convert into patient. Right? Nowadays, it just takes a few seconds to go from doctor to patient. But my only request is, if you want a bit of humor, then you also have to appear a little flexible. Because if you're sitting like this, it's very hard to say anything funny because, you're getting judgmental eyes. Hamare aankhein, hamare, right? So if you like what I'm saying, you can laugh a little loudly so I can hear it. I'm an ENT surgeon. I'm not able to hear. If you like a little bit more, you can clap. Hooting and cheering, I leave to you. Otherwise, that's all right. But I want a little bit more energy so we can do this in a fun way. All right. So guys, are you ready for a little bit humor style of the delivery of the talk? All right, wonderful. Thank you very much. My name is Dr. Jagdish Chaturvedi. I'm an ENT surgeon. I'm a sinus specialist. Those with allergy, give me an achhi. See, I knew so many patients were going to be there. This is not a comedy thing. This is my patient acquisition strategy. All across the country. I am from Bengaluru, the capital of allergy, right? My kids go to school because of allergy, it funds our education. I've done over 800 plus shows, guys, and this is a research that I do. Every time I ask people for allergy, I 100% get achhi. Thank God I'm not a gastroenterologist. Yeah. See, that takes some time to spread, I know. But I was talking about burping. But I clearly know what you were thinking about. Okay. All right. So, and we'll not talk about gynecology here. So, yeah. But let me address the elephant in the room. See, the moment, people say I'm a doctor and then I'm doing comedy, I can already see in your judgmental eyes, ye padhai mein acha nahi hoga. Tabhi ye kar raha hai. That's typically, see people nodding also, yeah. Because agar acha hota to you would be doing something else. No, but I want to make this very clear, okay? I was actually a very good student. If you ask any of my friends, my family members, my parents, what Jagdish loved to do as a kid, I loved to study. I was very passionate. when I used to study. I loved studying. In fact, in school, I loved studying some subjects so much, I studied them for many years. See, you're judging me again, right? It's for the love of the subject. Who decides 1 year? Why the law of physics motion has to move, right? I may want to study more. My MBBS journey, I have studied a lot. Like anatomy at least for 3 years. Because foundation and basics have to be good, right? Now you only tell me honestly, just look into your heart and tell, would you go to a surgeon who has finished anatomy in just 1 year? Or somebody who was immersed for many years? Knows every muscle, every nerve of your body, right? Right? You don't want to go to cut gold medalist, right? You want to go someone who understands because the love of the subject. And, you know, my MBBS journey, I studied from Siddhartha Medical College, Tumkuru. It's a town in Karnataka. Anyone here from Karnataka? Namaskara, madam. Namaskara. So I'm from Tumkuru. Others are stuck in traffic, don't worry. So I was born in Bangalore, raised in traffic. I've grown up a lot there. But, you know, my MBBS journey, I was very passionate, you know, as an MBBS student. And I used to wait for the day when I will get to see a patient. You know, imagine, first of all, it's a 5.5-year course. Plus, passionately, you make it 8 to 9 years. You're really thinking, you know, that all that knowledge that is bubbling inside you has to come down on a patient someday. And we call this very gloriously the internship. Right? उसमें ship है, पता है sink होगा. Ship लगाते उधर. Right? And I used to be like, you know, when my internship day was coming close, I used to fantasize. Who is going to be the recipient of this vast knowledge that I have accumulated over 9.5 years and counting? Right? Who is it going to be? Is it going to be a male patient? Is it going to be a female patient? Young, old, child? I used to think, you know, I used to practice how I'm going to, you know, I'm going to spend so much time understanding the entire, you know, issue of what the patient is complaining and provide my advice with tender love and care, with the right amount of investigations and everything. When I went to my internship in a district hospital, Tumkur, the compounder was only worried about, sir, did you eat your breakfast? Properly you ate, no? I'm like, yeah, I ate my breakfast. He took me from the back door of the hospital. I didn't know why. I was posted in medicine. And I was ready for my first patient. But he took me into a back door of a room, very small room. There were 2 doors in the front, right? And something very heavy was being held behind. I did not know what. He made me sit down on the chair, gave me a pen, and he said, breakfast you have had, no, sir? I'm like, yes, I've had. Okay. And then he runs towards the door, unleashes the bolt, and runs away, and at least 50 people barge in. Sir, BP, sir, sugar, sir, BP, sir. I'm like, who came first? Who will I tell my kids about the first patient that I saw? And they were so angry. Sir, BP, I thought, abhi main patient banega. So I did, you know, it's defense. Okay, after medical practice is not art. It is self-defense. Because patient is coming in, they all want to be seen first. So I did, you know what most people do? I saw anybody has pain, paracetamol. If I don't know what it is, I go to investigation, Excel karke aao. Tab tak main pad lunga. You know, kya hai? Because, you know, this is really what happens, guys. Our academic career is very different from our practical career. You know, you might think that as a doctor, you will get the ample amount of time, but we hardly get 5 to 10 or 15 seconds, right? To basically see, and you have to treat really quickly. We didn't know it is that Karan Johar's rapid fire round, right? Turant you have to give the answer. And it doesn't get better in post-graduation. I did my post-graduation in ENT from St. John's Medical College because it was my birthright. I was born in St. John's. When my interview, they said, "Idhar kyo padhna chahte ho?" I was like, "Father, I was born here. Nobody else is taking me. Take this child and give him a career." All right. You know. So I got in and in St. John's Medical College, and we had a very, you know, aggressive department, you know. And in addition to a large number of patients, we have research, you know. Have you heard of this? I'm sure you've heard of this place, this thing called PubMed, right? Yeah, PubMed is a place where doctors go to pub and write medical articles. Right? Because the conclusion of everything is that more studies need to be done. Right? Hamara kaam ho gaya. Ab aap aur padhao usko, you know, do that. We have to do research articles, journal clubs, and for me, they used to send me to a rural, so we had rural outreach. They used to send me to a place called Muglur, which was about 70 kilometers away, and we were doing cancer screening. Okay, now here's the problem came. I am not good at looking at the vocal cords through how we are in 2025, but today if we have to look at the box, the vocal cords, how we do it today? We ask the patient to sit in front of us, and they open their mouth, and you see Zuba Kesari, Dane Dane Mein Kesar Ka Dam. If you are lucky, you will get gloves. Otherwise, you ask the patient to say, take the tongue out and make this kind of a symptom sound called Then you hold the tongue with your bare hand, wriggly, wriggly. It's a part of the job. Right? And then you have to take this slender, look at the technology we're dealing with. Stainless steel, slender, thin, long, वो भी 2 part का है, हिलता रहता है वो. Right? And there is one circular rim with a glass mirror. It's a very tiny mirror. You have to put this mirror at the back of the throat. You can also start doing Both of us are doing bolo People watching don't know patient कौन है और patient ने doctor के मुंह में mirror क्यों डाला हुआ है. Don't know. And no, this is not it. To add little bit more challenge in life, they created something called bullseye lamp. You heard what a bullseye lamp is? Bullseye lamp is a lamp this tall. It is like the sun. Hot. One bulb will be there, which will almost burn your shoulder. Wo आधा time to by the time you see, your hand goes like this. Now, this is the art for seeing the voice box today. The light from this bullseye lamp has to go above your shoulder, through your fat, hairy hands, into the mouth of the reflecting in the tiny mirror which is already fogging like the Titanic movie scene. And in that reflection, the right Shanika Graha and all of that angle, alignment of all planets, you will get to glimpse of the vocal cords. Even if you see it, you'll be like, in that much time, this junior resident has to make a diagnosis whether this is early vocal cord cancer. कुछ समझ में नहीं आता था. But we learned how to sound useful. Paracetamol. X-ray करा दो उनका. No clue, right? And then they used to send me, and okay, you send me alone, it's fine. Nobody knows क्या हो रहा है. But they like to mess with juniors. They send me with a senior resident. उसका नाम senior resident है, काम सब वही करता है. So senior resident makes him feel senior है, but he's the bottom of the food chain. They send this frustrated senior resident with me who's also doing the screening. And I am seeing one patient, he's seeing another Manik Chand patient, दोनों का चल रहा है. And sometimes these seniors, they rag juniors. No, they little bit, they have to show their boss around, boss around. So my senior resident is seeing a patient's throat. He calls me, Jagdish, come here. Tell me your findings in this patient. I look inside, मेरे को कुछ समझ में आ रहा है, but I'm making showing some skills, right? But my friends told me this. They warned me. They're like, if your seniors ask you any such questions, tell the most safest answer. So I said, sir, this patient looks normal. क्योंकि ऊपर वाले का बैलेंस होता है, कभी ना कभी ठीक हो जाएगा. इसने अच्छा काम किया, कोई पाप नहीं किया, तो you'll be fine, right? My senior resident says, Jagdish, thank God you could make out something. I couldn't make out anything myself. And that is the first time, guys, fear struck. See, when you were junior, you still have a conscience. बाद में मर जाता है. But when you are young, you want to do something passionate, you have that conscience. And I honestly felt very bad. Because, see, these are villagers, these are farmers. They leave their daily wage and they come over here. We get ready since morning, we come, we wipe our mirrors, and both of us have come over here. And हम दोनों को कुछ समझ में नहीं आ रहा हम लोग कर क्या रहे हैं. And patient is left their daily wage to get a treatment for their voice box, and whether it's early cancer or not. And that time, there is this movie called Swades that was released. Have you seen the movie called Swades? It makes you do dangerous things. Especially Swades plus the whiff of Zuba Kesari. You want to do something for your country, right? And I got my अंदर का शाहरुख खान जाग गया. Like, hey, ये सही नहीं है. करना है देश के लिए. And I did the unthinkable. I would never do it any other day. But I did the unthinkable. The unthinkable thing that any junior most person can ever do is to confront your senior most boss and the head of department, who is known as the most angriest person, about this issue. And I went that time, I went from Muglur, I was like, this, I have to do something about this is not right. I entered our HOD's chamber at the end of a busy OPD. And I said, sir, what is going on, sir? This is not fair. We go to these rural areas, we are putting mirrors inside, we are supposed to see early vocal cord cancer lesions. And here in our outpatient department, we have a flat screen TV, we have halogen light with this. By the time patient comes here, you can see the cancer from outside. You need this magnification at the first point of care, not at the last point of care. There we are dealing with mirrors where you can't see anything. And he's like, and then he's just, he just sits like this. And then he looks at me. And then this is actual words. I'm not making it up. I have permission. He looks at me and he asks this very genuine question at that point of time. It's like, Jagdish, tu bhonkne wala kutta hai ki kaatne wala kutta hai? I'm like, out of syllabus question. What is the inner meaning of this? And he's my thesis guide. So I'm evaluating because bhonkne wala kutta has never got the respect, right? So I said, sir, मैं काटने वाला कुत्ता हूं. He says, तो भौंक क्यों रहा है? You're coming into my OPD chamber and you are barking. Why is it not there? Why is it not there? I have 100 things. Nobody's listening to me. I have to run this department. You got this, you got that. If you want to do something about it, if you're truly a kaatne wala kutta, to jaake kuch kaat ke aa. Don't come and bark in front of me, okay? You are capable of doing something on your own. Why don't you try and do something on your own? And that is when I realized, oh, mere ko kuch karna padega. He is told. He is a thesis guide also. But one of the things which is beautiful about human nature is when you face a problem or an adversity, you automatically think of solution, right? Like we invent and ideate like falling in love. But our love process is full of research. Shadi.com, biodata, kitna salary hai, But ideation, we don't follow any research. It just happens because you're facing the problem and it's like love. Ho gaya. Nobel Prize bhi mil gaya. Patent bhi sab aa gaya. You think like that. And I had an idea. I was like, see, I come from a time where smartphones were just coming. Yeah, I look quite young, but there used to be these digital cameras. I don't know if you've seen these Sony cameras, this Canon cameras, digital handy cameras hote the. And we all had endoscopes because we were also learning how to do surgeries. We had the glass rod endoscopes. We had ear, nose, and throat endoscopes. So I thought a simple idea. Why don't I take this endoscope and connect it to the digital camera? All I need is a mechanical coupler, just something that holds this lens in such a way that I see the image on the camera and figure out from the battery of the camera, can I power the light source to light this endoscope? That's all I thought. And then, I met these people called industrial designers. Industrial designers are designers who will do same thing but charge you bada bolke. वो MBA करके आते हैं ना, वो short form सीख जाते हैं to make things sound more intelligent. So they charged me some 2-3 lakhs, and then there was an MSME grant or something where they said, okay, the government will fund some of the development. But I was thinking, if I make this, I can solve this, right? But I was short of money. And Indian kids have one source of money called Indian parents. And Indian parents will give you money if you can wriggle your lower chin at the frequency that wriggles their heart. So I went to front of my father. I was like, beta, kya ho gaya? Thoda sa aur, he's a psychiatrist, so I didn't have to overdo it, right? So I was like, project hai, Papa. He's like, kitna chahiye? Actually, chahiye to 50,000, but I asked for 1 lakh. He's like, 1 lakh chahiye. Somehow we negotiated, got 50,000 rupees, and then whatever the remaining the government supported, and I was able to actually make. And I was amazed that now, when I'm putting that camera inside the throat, I went to Muglur, got the patient in front, placed this 90-degree camera attached to this Pentax camera. And for the first time, could see what the vocal cords look like. And I could record it. And I could show it to the patient. Patient is looking at it like, sir, what is that red, white? I said, leukoplakia. Pre-cancerous condition. Cancer, sir. I could first see for the first time that he was very serious about what I was saying. Others, nobody was taking me seriously until now. But he is now seeing that this is a lesion that has just been recorded from my throat. The compliance of this patient changed overnight. This patient followed up with us every week till that leukoplakic lesion went away before lighting his next BD. Out of relief. I told him not to smoke after that, but still, it's a very anxiety-provoking thing. But I could see the compliance change when somebody actually sees what is going on. And I went very proudly to my boss. I was like, sir, kata laga. I have made a bite and I show him this. He is like, oh, you took me seriously? Nobody takes me seriously. मैं तो ऐसे ही बोलता रहता हूँ. But now, see, if you didn't do anything about it, I would have forgiven you. Usually, most people don't do about anything that your HOD tells, right? But you are now on to something, so I will not forgive you if you don't get this until market. You have to get this all the way to the market. I was like, sir, अभी बेच देते मैं 5 बना लूँगा, बाहर स्टॉल लगा लेंगे, एक आप रख लो, एक हॉस्पिटल को दे देंगे, एक में और 2 बेच के हम लोग डिवाइड कर लेंगे. And he's like, when I market, it has to be something that the end user can use. I'm like, this end user can use. He's like, no, this is a prototype. This is not a product. I'm like, what is the difference? He asked me back, what is the difference? I said spelling. He's like, no. There's a big difference between prototype and a final product. A prototype, you don't know how it functions. You don't know whether this will break, how long will it run, will it give some electricity, does it emit some radiations? You know, you don't know anything, but a product is fully understood. You know everything about half-life, shelf life, how it's going to work and everything like that. So make it a product. I'm like, sir, but I'm a PG student. What I should do to make it into a product? He's like, you have to form a company. I'm like, what do you need for a company? He's like, another person. That's what it's called, company. Oh. I was like, okay, I have to find another human being. So I went home. I had a wife. So I asked her, Janeman, do you want to form a company with me? She said, no. So I went to the next best option, her sister. She agreed. She was an IIT Chennai, IIT Madras graduate. She did aeronautical engineers and she was not getting a job. So she married someone from IIM Calcutta who was not getting a job. They're like, till we are finding what to do with our lives, we understand little bit of business, we understand little bit of, engineering, and you are the doctor. So together, with the 3 of us, made the biggest mistake of our life called Yukti Private Limited. Yukti Private Limited, we realized many new things. First of all, we thought, you make a wonderful product, paisa aise denge log. Very good, very good. Then we realized that no investor is actually investing much in the product. They actually invest in the person. The team, and as a team, they are jobless. I am having night duties every 72 hours, right? So they're like, you're not fully vested in it. You're not full time into this. So once you come out, I'm like, sir, I will come out. You don't know my studying strategy. मैं बहुत time के बाद आऊँगा. So we really struggled. We couldn't get this out. I went to my boss, Dr. Ravi Nair. I said, sir, look, I really tried. We formed this company. We're not getting funding. But now the industrial designer made the same thing look a little bit more better with some what they call ergonomics, which basically means ganda nahi dikhega. People think it's worth buying, right? And he felt bad. He's like, this student, I think I'm stressing him out. He's come to study ENT, मैं उसको बोल रहा हूँ company चला and all of that. So he said, fine, Jagdish, no problem. Just as I was leaving the room, he stopped me. He's like, Jagdish, if you and I as doctors, we don't know how to invent. We can't even get simple product to the market. Somebody must be knowing, the process must be there. Somebody must be knowing how to invent. I'm like, yes, sir, of course somebody must know how to invent. He's like, why don't you learn from them? Sir, मैं अपना PG खत्म कर लेता हूँ सर, इसको जाने देते हैं. He's like, no, there must be something. And he found out this wonderful fellowship program, and I must thank Department of Biotechnology for this, called Stanford India Biodesign Program. That please, big round of applause for Stanford India Biodesign. So which Dr. Ravi Nair said that if we don't know something, you have to learn it, right? And fortunately for me, I got in the year 2012, and I was the only doctor in the entire country. who applied to that program. Because none of the other doctors knew about that program. Because it comes out like a small ad cutting in some newspaper. Not many people knew. A lot of engineers, biotechnology people, other people were applying, but doctors, not many people were applying. So I was the only doctor who applied in that year, and they waitlisted me for a better candidate. The Stanford guys came and said, "Is this the only candidate that we have? Why is his email address called hemoglobin84? So I explained, you see, he is male, globin is strong, 84 year of birth. Let's hire this guy." Right? And it's a wonderful program which actually teaches, the process to innovation. We never think that there is a process to innovation, right? But it's a wonderful process that, the Bay Area has been doing, and the Indian government collaborated with AIIMS, IIT Delhi, through Department of Biotechnology, Stanford India Biodesign Program, and they would send 4 fellows. I'm sure you know about it. We go all the way to the US in Stanford University. We learn this process and we come back and implement it over here. And when I went, I had 2 big learnings, okay? 2 big learnings I had were the 4 of us, engineer, a product designer, scientist, and me, the doctor, went all the way to Stanford University through 3 hopping flights. And when we went there, we had a very big realization. We realized that the people who were teaching us the biodesign process in Stanford, USA, were doctors from India with American accents. Raj Doshi, Uday Kumar, Anurag Mairal. I'm like, हम 7 समुंदर पार आए. हमको कोई एंड्रू या जेसिका दो यार. Like मैं घर में क्या बोलूंगा? वो स्टैनफोर्ड में दोषी अंकल से पढ़ के आए. Like, give us some feel, no? Everybody there, Then I asked one of these doctors, where did you study from? He was like, Mumbai, Ghatkopar. मुंबई से पढ़ के इधर हमको पढ़ा रहे हो सरकारी फंड से. Like we are learning from ourselves in a very complicated way. I was not able to understand, right? And then I realized why I have so many bars and pubs over there, right? Because it took us some time to understand this whole thing. And sometimes I would ask one of these doctors, like, how did you get into this? It's like, I was a mechanical engineer. I liked the mechanics of the heart, so I became a cardiologist. You became? Avatar hai kya? Just became cardiologist. Here we study for 15 years, we don't become anything. It's like, and I asked, how come, you guys are teaching us, why we don't have this in India, in our country, you're all trained from the similar places, but you come here to Stanford University, you're teaching us how to do the innovation process. Then one of the doctors said why it works there at that point of time. He said, Jagdish, when you come to a place like Stanford University, the thing is that all interdepartments are right in the same campus. So you've got the med school, you've got the business school, you've got the architecture school, you've got the design school, you've got the legal school. Everything is in the same campus. There is a lot of cross-disciplinary interactions that happen. So if you have an idea, you can walk over to the cafeteria and you can talk to someone from business, someone from legal, and you start up a company and go to the Bay Area where there are the venture capitalists who will invest in your company. And then what we'll do is that when you're ready, we will buy back your shares, and then you like what happened with Google, and then you can be a unicorn. I'm like, I'm an insan hu, sir. Unicorn. And then I thought about it. I was like, see, you look at our academic system over here. Sir was also telling, everyone does everything in their own silos, right? Like as a doctor, I don't get to interact with engineers, right? Engineers don't get to interact with doctors in their academic setting. We don't have, all the universities are separate, and then there is traffic in between. So there is no way, even if you want, you can't meet. You only meet in traffic with a different language. You can't see and come out. That's the only way you get to meet. I get to see an engineer if he's lying down on my operation table. I can't be like, मेरे साथ company बनाएगा तो बचाता हूँ तेरे को, sister मारे, scalpel बड़ा वाला, बनाएगा startup, because Where will I interact with another engineer? We don't have that, right? And the other reason why, they have a process that, works is because, they are not like ideation like love. They observe. And they call it observe. They observe. For 3 months, you know how we are over here in an Indian setting, right? हम लोग 1 second बिना कुछ करे नहीं बैठते. 3 months, I was observing in a hospital room that was called observation room. I was observing observation. 4 of us standing next to each other, just observing. तुझे कुछ दिखा, मेरे को नहीं दिखा. क्या दिख रहा है? वो नर्स उधर से गई, वो पेशेंट वहां आया, तो हमको लिखना क्या है? What are we observing? And we asked, what are we looking for? You're looking for unmet needs. I'm like, because there must be a gap that is happening, right? They're looking at whether hospitalization increased in days, did surgery time increase, did their bleeding? There is a scope for improving that. There's scope for innovation. And I was like, oh, that's observation. We became experts in observation. By the time we returned, far in return, we were experts at observations. हम लोग सपना भी आँख खोल के देखते थे. And we were supposed to implement whatever we have learned over here in New Delhi. We are observing everything. We went to Connaught Place and we are observing people. Some lady is looking at us and say, what are you looking at? I said, do you have any unmet needs? Then we became the reason for observation around us. We were shifted to AIIMS Observation Ward, where we were able to learn how joints are fixed by deep immersion with pain and learning. So, and I think, this is how it happened. And then through this process, I realized I was actually doing something fundamentally wrong. That's why that first product never took off. It never took off because I was doing something fundamentally wrong. Is I was not looking at the innovation. See, when you observe everything. See, a doctor observes a clinical thing. The designer will observe maybe the aesthetics of it. The engineer will observe the tech. When all 3 or 4 cross-disciplinary people are observing, you will pick up something, right? And I realized that the technology, why it didn't take off, why that product I thought was a good product. Now you can remotely look at the throat, ear, nose through the camera. Never took off because I didn't observe where it is going to be used and by whom. I just thought, मैं ENT, endoscope लगा दो, मस्त दिखेगा. But I didn't think that when this device is supposed to be used in a rural area, do you have someone who knows how to use endoscopy products there? There is no one trained. Endoscopy is a specialized skill. You are taking something which can cause injury into a body orifice to examine something, right? You can cause injury, requires certain skill. हम लोग भी 10-15 साल बाद we get comfortable with it. ऐसा patients को बोलते नहीं है, but हमको time लगता है. Till then we just keep doing yeah. So, so I was making a big fundamental mistake I made. I made a rural product, but with the skill set of an expert. No wonder it will not work. Because what do you have? You will probably have a junior MBBS doctor as a resident officer there, or you will have nurses, or you will have health workers. The moment we redesigned this, when I came back, we were like, let's salvage this product. We redesigned it. We made it foolproof. We made it so simple to use. The probe, we converted it from glass and made something really soft. We only looked at ear to start off with. We put some AI, something like that. And we made that device into a version that even a health worker or a 7 standard school pass person can use the device to do screening. And the moment we did it, there's a large medtech company called Medtronic that immediately licensed out the technology from us. And then they went on to train over 10,000 health workers and screened at least 5 to 10 lakh people for hearing problems here in Delhi. The program was called Shruti I Hear. If you can read about it, it's a case study also. It's called Shruti I Hear. And Shruti I Hear was a wonderful project where they took this device to screen for hearing. And then it was a telemedicine kind of a thing. But unfortunately, what happened is during COVID, just when COVID hit, this product had to close down for whatever reason because of the finances and all of that. And then the Shruti I Hear project ended there. But that's what happens with an evolution of an idea. Your device or your idea will not remain static. As the need changes, you will change the way the device is, right? Because the technology also changes. During COVID, we doctors, we ENT started facing a different problem. Everybody is now coming on video consultation. Now my friends are happily doing video consultation. They're like, अच्छा आप तो पिटेंगे भी नहीं. वो अपना ही laptop तोड़ेगा. Right? And he's seeing reports and tests. But if somebody comes to me and says, doctor, my ear is blocked, I can't see the ear from here. It could be wax, it could be drum retraction, it could be a hole in the drum, it could be something, fungal infection, it could be so many reasons. If I cannot see inside the ear canal, if I can't see inside the nose, I can't see inside the throat, I cannot do remote examination. And that's when we wanted to solve for it. And I didn't want to reinvent the wheel this time. So I went online. And I found a lot of these the cheap Chinese products. What they've done is very cleverly, to bypass the regulatory framework. They call it self-earwax cleaning device, but has a chip-on-tip camera. You would have seen this. It has a scoop and a small chip-on-tip camera, which the patient can do like this and become from partial patient to full patient. So I was like, ठीक है, हमारे लिए तो अच्छा है. Patient के लिए अच्छा नहीं है, right? But I thought that there is at least that camera, you can see the ear. So what it is, we procured 100 of those and we started doing a service model during COVID that if anybody has ENT problems, we would ship this product via speed post to their homes. They would put the camera inside their ear, nose, and then they would show it to us and we can do remote consultation. That backfired in 1 week. Because these are not medical grade and they're absolutely cheap product. The tip heated up for some patients that they almost develop a first-degree burn in the canal, ear canal. Some of them even exploded and some worked after 2-3 times. And then to make it work, they hit it 5-6 times. Then that also stopped working, right? And then we realized, jisse pehle medical legal case ho, and we go into permanent isolation in jail. Let us recall the devices back. And we thought we don't really need to reinvent the whole thing. You can get good quality chip-on-tip cameras also. We found a manufacturer that makes good quality chip-on-tip cameras. We put an insulation system and we designed the product this time uniquely in a way that a single device wirelessly will connect to your phone, but you can do endoscopy for all body orifices. Ear, nose, throat, dental, even vagina, cervix for cervical cancer and rectum for hemorrhoids. Using a single device with interchangeable attachments, which we received the patent for last year, and this device is right here in my pocket. Right, and this connects to your phone and it will show you an image like this. See, when you want to show something to someone, no? Yeah. You see this? This is an eardrum which is ruptured because of aircraft travel. This is the first time in my life I've actually seen a barotraumatic injury happen because one of the airports uses our device. So the moment a passenger came down from the aircraft saying, I've lost hearing in 1 year, they were able to put this and then show it to us. And it was like, oh, this is what a barotrauma looks like. Because if the patient would come to me 2 weeks later, it would be a larger hole. Now we see that it is just a small tear with blood coming out. We were able to reverse this very, very quickly. And similarly, we can see the adenoids, we can see the throat and all of that. And this device called Hytex. And the moral of the story for me is that many times we think if you're reinventing something or making something different with some features, it's not patentable or it does not have a future, it does not have a market. Sometimes you don't have to always do something in a very elaborate way, right? Because if I have to develop this from scratch like I did with the first product, it took me 10 years to get from ideation to market, right? Now it takes a year and a half by doing it a little bit more differently and using technology, doing some assembly work and getting the product out. And that's how I think, the process of innovation is keep observing, keep looking for things that are going wrong, and then you'll be able to find a solution. Because at the end of the day, our job as doctors is to make lives of patients better, but it is not limited to just treating patients. We should also develop. And so I've written a book because, once I went to Dr. Ravi Nair, this is my last part, and I told him about these devices I've developed. He says, "Tu abhi bhi bhonk raha hai." I'm like, sir, kya baat kar rahe ho? I'm like, how to please this guy? Like, 15 साल से मैं इतना device बना रहा हूँ इधर 4-5 startup and you are saying I'm still barking. He's like, yeah, you are barking about it. कितनी जगह जाके you will give a talk? How many places? How will people come to know what you're doing? I'm like, but sir, I'm not successful, right? To talk all of that. He's like, no, you write it in a book. If you write it in a book, it becomes a product. Then people can buy and read it. But I'm like, sir, I don't have the success to write about it. He's not getting it. Then he told me something which I remember even till today is a very important thing he said. He said, Jagdish, don't wait for success to come before you write something about it, because sometimes success comes so late that when you take out this information, it is just mere value of inspiration. It may not even be applicable because time would have changed by the time you become successful. Instead, you write about the failures, the challenges. So somebody else is doing the same thing, they will do some course correction. I will like, sir, failures to bhar ke aaye mere ko genetically. Like mistakes to come very naturally to me. So easily I wrote 10 case studies of how to badly mess up any innovation and put it in a book called Inventing Medical Devices, A Perspective from India, which within a month became a bestseller on Amazon in medical technologies, because there was no book on medical technologies in India. But the reason of its success was because people love reading about other people's failures. मजा आता है, ऐसा किया उसने पेट, ये ऐसा किया, इसको भी मेरे को भी दो, you know. And then I was right, failures is very underrated. Failure से बहुत पैसा बनाया जा सकता है. And so I wrote a book called Benefits of Failing Successfully. That is about how 10 failures of your childhood can make you an entrepreneur. And that book became successful. I don't know whether it failed successfully or successfully failed. But now parents buy it for their kids, saying that you should fail. Or it's okay to fail at least, because we don't have that conversation about that. No, we have to always be successful. So with that, guys, I think this is the point I wanted to make. But thank you very much. You've been a wonderful audience. You know, one second. I would like to record this. You know, I want to show my other comedian friends that, you know, कि हम लोग भी अच्छा comedy कर सकते हैं, right? Yeah, so let's do this one more time, all right? Just for me, I'll just record this. Thank you very much, guys. You've been a wonderful audience. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. This is a social experiment that I've been doing for last 800 shows. But I keep doing research, okay? And I notice that every time I record an applause on the camera, I get a better response. And that gives me one inference. When you want something from somebody, no, just directly ask it. Don't try to extract it. If you try to extract it, they will never give it to you. Management 101. Thank you very much. Signing out, Dr. Jagdish sir.
Dr. Jagdish, request you to please wait in the stage. So, as a disclaimer, I think the response of our crowd says it all. Thank you for just lighting up our foundation day today. And this show, as a disclaimer, I'd like to tell to our audience, this show is intended purely for entertainment purpose only. And the jokes, characters, punchlines are meant to bring smiles and laughter. Any resemblance to real person is purely coincidental. It is? Okay. Thank you. So I'd like to request Shilpi Kochar ma'am to please come up to felicitate Dr. Jagdish Chaturvedi. Request Dr. Smita to please coordinate the process. A round of applause, please, for Dr. Jagdish. Thank you, Dr. Smita. Now we proceed ahead to a session where we sing, laugh, and celebrate the BIRAC way. So it's often said to BIRAC that innovation thrives in the right environment. And at BIRAC, we just don't support entrepreneurs in realizing their dreams. We also nurture a vibrant and dynamic in-house team that is just as talented, creative, and full of life. To do the honors, I'd like to request Ms. Apurva Srivastav to please come up. She's an officer from SPED department. I leave the stage to you for your musical adventure ahead. Please go ahead.
Very good evening, everyone. Very good evening, everyone, and happy Foundation Day to all of us. Today, I'm going to sing a mashup of songs, which includes 3-4 songs of Bollywood and 3-4 Western songs. So basically, I chose a few stanzas which I think I could sing. So I would request you to please bear with me for the next 5 minutes. And I just want to give a disclaimer. Like, I'm singing today here because I like to sing, but it doesn't necessarily mean that I sing well. Okay, I think there is some problem. Yeah, can I take the other mic? I think I would be more comfortable with that. Can I take my hand mic? Is it working? Working? No, pakka.
I think we can.
Yeah, it seems to be working. Okay. So please allow me to begin. You're a good soldier, choosing your battle. Pick yourself up and dust yourself off and bat in the saddle. You're on the front line, everyone's watching. You know it's serious, we're getting closer, this isn't over. The pressure is on, you feel it. But you got it all, believe it. When you fall, get up, oh, if you fall, get up, hey. Samina mina zan kaleva, cause this is Barakah. कहते हैं खुदा ने इस जहां में सभी के लिए किसी ना किसी को है बनाया हर किसी के लिए तेरा मिलना है इस रब का इशारा मानो मुझको बनाया तेरे जैसे ही किसी के लिए कुछ तो है तुझसे है राबता कुछ तो है तुझसे है राबता तू हम सफर है फिर क्या फिक्र है जीने की वजह यही है मरना इसी के लिए पहली बार हम I'm sorry I just need to close the book. पहली बार हम निकले हैं घर से किसी अनजान के संग हो अनजाने से पहचान बढ़ेगी तो महक उठेगा तो रंग हो महक से तू कहीं बहक न जाना महक से तू कहीं बहक न जाना ना करना मोहे तंग हो तंग करने का तो से नाता है गुजरिया तंग करने का near far wherever you are I believe that the heart does go on once more you open the door and you heal in my heart and my heart will go on and on love can touch us one time and last for a lifetime and never let go till we're gone. This is the last song which I usually sing for my child to put him to sleep. And he sings this for me as well. And I fall asleep before he does. So, you are my sunshine, my only sunshine. You make me happy when skies are gray. You'll never know, dear, how much I love you. Please don't take my sunshine away. The other night, dear, as I lay sleeping, I dreamed I held you in my arms. When I awoke, dear, I was mistaken. So I hung my head and cried. And there's one more song, if you guys allow. This will take hardly a minute. This song is very special to me because we all sang it together along with Devan sir and all the SPED team members few years back. So I would request if you all can also join while I sing this song. सोचा कहा था ये जो हो गया माना कहा था ये लो हो गया चुटकी कोई काटो ना है हम तो होश में कदमों को थामो ये है उड़ते जोश में बादल पे पाँव है या छुट्टा गांव है, अब तो भाई चल पड़ी अपनी ये नाव है. थैंक यू वेरी मच.
Thank you. Ms. Apurva, not only you make your son happy, you also made us happy as well from BIRAC today. Thank you. A round of applause, please, for Ms. Apurva. Next, I'd like to invite on the stage Ms. Rashmika Singh, Deputy Manager from SPED Department. So her song sheds light on harsh realities on gender inequality and the importance of valuing every girl child. I leave the stage to you, please.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you, Dr. Sujit, for the introduction. With that introduction, just wanted to say one line. The song is composed by Mr. Ram Sampant and sung by Mr. Swanand Kirkire. The composition make it a powerful anthem for change, urging society to reflect and act. With this, I'll begin the song. होरी चिड़ैया नन्ही सी चिड़िया आंगना में फिर आ जा रे. होरी चिड़ैया नन्ही सी चिड़िया आंगना में फिर आ जा रे. अंधियारा है घना और लहू से सना, किरणों के तिनके अंबर से चुन के अंगना में फिर आ जा रे. होरी चिड़ैया नन्ही सी चिड़िया अंगना में फिर आ जा रे. हमने तुझ पे हजारों सितम है किए, हमने तुझ पे जहां भर के जुल्म किए. हमने सोचा नहीं तू जोड़ जाएगी, ये ज़मीं तेरे बिन सूनी रह जाएगी. किसके दम पे सजेगा मेरा अंगना. होरी चिड़ैया मेरी चिड़ैया अंगना में फिर आ जा रे. तेरे पंखों में सारे सितारे जड़ूं, तेरी चूनर थनक सतरंगी बुनूं. तेरे काजल में मैं काली रैना बुरूं, तेरी मेहंदी में मैं कच्ची धूप मालूं. तेरे नैनों सजा दूं नया सपना. होरी चिड़ैया मेरी चिड़ैया अंगना में फिर आ जा रे. थैंक यू फॉर लिसनिंग.
Thank you, Ms. Rashmika. Thank you so much. Next. So, at BIRAC, we find ourselves often struggling with day-to-day acronyms. Our beneficiaries get lost and we bang our heads always explaining to them. I'm sure all of you can relate to what I'm saying, isn't it? Thank you. Thank you, sir. So our Director of Finance, ma'am, Nidhi ma'am, is going to share with us a funny take on these acronyms, which are a lifeline for BIRAC's day-to-day work. Let us hear her out as she represents an original contribution as a poem on BIRAC jargon blues. Ma'am, I request you to please present us the same on the stage. A round of applause, please, for Nidhi ma'am.
Yeah, good evening, everyone. A very happy Foundation Day. So, after this very soulful songs, we'll try to end the session on a very happy note. You know, this piece of creativity, this is inspired by Secretary Sir's talk on DBT Foundation Day. He tried to educate us. He gave a little slide on various acronyms and other technical jargons. So I don't know why. Maybe I was fasting, or maybe what was the reason. But this struck me that this can be twisted into a playful turn. So that was the ideation. Now I get the opportunity to convert to actual implementation. So again, this is all in good humor, and it comes with a disclaimer. This is not intended to offend anyone. It's just a playful take on the acronyms. And in case I land into a soup, I bank on my legal division. Kavita ma'am will come in to keep me safe. So with this, I'm very sure you all will relate to this. So BIRAC jargon blues. At BIRAC, where innovation rules the game, acronyms lead yet sound the same. They seem so grand, so wise, so bold, but their real meanings a tale untold. First one, CNA. Cash not available, mostly the case. TSA, totally stressful accounting, a never-ending chase. UC, ultimate confusion, no doubt. And this is my favorite, GBI, getting budget increase throughout. I think I'm really proud of myself. Again, no offense meant. Kavita ma'am, please keep me safe. Abhi stuck ho gaya. No parking of funds, we all know. Please allocate, reallocate, keep it never going idle. No float. Funds leave only as transactions, vanishing so vital. Umbrella scheme order dated. Tell me, dated? 12 is MA 24. Unpredictable memo. Everyone lost all the time. Royalty, reminder email for defaulters, so prime. Next board meeting, may I need an update? How many reminders have been sent? ये क्या हो गया? ये अच्छा. Loan. Lenders often anxious naturally. GIA, grants issued, audits incoming factually. FDD, frantically digging for documents rationally. Site visit, अब तो बहुत कम हो गया. Swiftly investigate, take evidence, vanish instantly. MIS, mystery in spreadsheets, unread consistently. I don't know how many of us actually read it. CSR, chasing sponsors relentlessly. LOI, laugh out intent that feels like a dream. TRL, TACO readiness level, is it ever as it seems? SLA, कितने लोग पढ़ते हैं? Seriously, late agreement, but no one reads it. R&D, rock and dance, but we have to speed it. Biomanufacturing, big investments, oversight, never-ending rules. Fellow, where is Sonia? Forever learning, overworking, and worrying, best tools. Defaulter, didn't fear action until legal trouble emerged. CIRP, Amit, company in real problem, help is urged. So through audits, forms, and sleepless nights, we juggle grants, approvals, and infights. Yet we laugh, we push, and we still stand tall. For innovation, for science, for the good of all. Thank you so much. And there was one last slide. for BIRAC team. This one is contributed by Shilpi Kochar. Brilliant minds at work, innovation is DNA, resilience defines us, adaptability sets us apart, committed and creative. Thank you so much, everyone.
Ma'am, thank you so much. I'd request you to please stay back because you have to give the vote of thanks for today.
Okay. So where's my vote of thanks? Paper ho gaya mera.
This one, I think. Huh?
Yeah. So, honorable dignitaries were on the dais in absentia. Esteemed guests, ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of TBT BIRAC, it is my privilege to extend a heartfelt vote of thanks on this special occasion, our 13th Foundation Day. Special appreciation to Dr. Rahul Purwar, Professor Biosciences and Bioengineering, IIT Bombay, and Founder CEO, ImmunoAct Private Limited, for delivering the Foundation Day lecture. We extend our deepest gratitude to Honorable Chairman and Secretary DBT, Dr. Rajesh S. Gokhale. A special thanks to Dr. Jagdish Chaturvedi. Next time I visit an ENT specialist and he says, I know what should I think. Heartfelt thanks to our Managing Director, Dr. Jiten Kumar, whose relentless dedication and support plays a crucial role in BIRAC's success. Special mention to Ms. Ekta Bishnoi, and we look forward to her contribution in our board. Finally, a big thank you to the entire BIRAC team for your hard work and meticulous planning. Thank you, everyone. Here is to many more years of growth, innovation, and celebration at BIRAC. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, ma'am. As we continue to celebrate our Foundation Day tomorrow also, so request everybody to please join us back tomorrow at National Media Center, 12 p.m. onwards, in the presence of Honorable Minister of Science and Technology, Dr. Jitendra Singh. And request everybody to please come up for a group photograph quickly. But here we can do it. Sir is there, MD sir is there. Request everybody, whole BIRAC team, to please come up for a group photograph. We'll do the same tomorrow with the minister as well. Please do not forget the high tea after the group photo.